So guys, it's David here and it is currently day 401. I hope you guys are doing well and like always are doing better than yesterday. Now, as you guys can see, I am at a different place, a different background. And this is the last location we have to move to in China before we start to head back into the beautiful land of Australia. And as you guys can probably tell, I am exhausted. Had a poor sleep, and I tried to sleep on the plane, but it was definitely not working. It is not working, and I am barely keeping myself afloat. So with how I felt today, I thought it would make sense to touch on the topic of fatigue, because fatigue at times can feel like the reason why we are not successful. Fatigue may at the times be the reason that we think that is not helping us stay consistent with whatever we are doing. Because of fatigue, we allow that to become the excuse of our inaction. But let me talk to you about what do I think about fatigue and success and just life in general. And that is, I think fatigue definitely clouds our clarity. Fatigue clouds our clarity in a way that it would not give us the excess energy to push beyond our comfort zone. So what we have already habitualized in our life, what we do every single day, that by default will stay the same. Whether we have fatigue or not, we'll still do what we do that we are familiar. For example, if you already have built the habit of doing work, whatever work it is, whatever profession you have pursued, having fatigue will still allow you to sit there and complete the task. Having fatigue will still allow you to finish the workout session. But there is an issue that having fatigue will affect majority of people to not push beyond their comfort zone. Having excess fatigue will allow most people to not put in that extra effort that is necessary for growth. Having excess fatigue means you are going to shy 2 or 3 reps away from failure because you perhaps are scared or are just too tired to push through that extra amount of output that is necessary for growth. So having fatigue does not necessarily mean it stops you from thinking about doing the right thing, because having fatigue does not take away from your ability of competence. It is only diminishing your ability and your willingness to take excess risk. So even though you may not have fatigue, you may still have not done anything today, because having fatigue or not does not change your decision of making a choice. Our choices, based on the choice we make every single day, revolves around what we are familiar and comfortable to do. So if you build the habitual habit of laying around on your ass watching TV, going clubbing, then no matter if you have or have no fatigue, you are bound to do the same. Because to go beyond that requires you to put in some effort. But there's also something a lot of us have a misunderstanding, and that is we tend to associate fatigue with our lack of success. But yet a lot of us have not even come close to burning out. We think we may have burned out. We think we may have just run ourselves down to the point that we need to relax. But that isn't the truth. Because coming back from what I said earlier about fatigue, even though if you have fatigue, you can still do what you have made it familiar to do. You can still sit there and do the work. Yes, the work may not be 100% great. There may have been room for improvement, but it still allows you to do the thing. And certainly today, despite me having some fatigue of not sleeping, I noticed as I was sitting here reading and doing the work, I noticed that my mind was not as sharp or focused. Yes, I was forgetting about some sentences I read previously. Yes, I was not writing efficiently and articulately, but I still managed to do it. Because doing something, if it is of your habitual habit, does not require a lot of energy. What does is you changing course, is you making a decision that was not of your routine. You see, if I have made doing the work my routine, then if I change course and to do something different, even if that means to scroll on Instagram or to go out and drink in club, even if that means to enjoying some gratification, that in a way, funny enough, requires you to use more will and discipline to change course, to change gear. So if you can allow yourself to do that, even though it is chasing a form of pleasure, that in a way uses more mental willpower or mental energy than if it did for you to just stay consistent doing whatever it is you are doing. So please, don't let fatigue be the excuse of your inaction, because there are times and so many people out there who don't act even though they have no accumulation of fatigue whatsoever. Don't blame fatigue for your lack of inaction, but understand the reason you choose not to act is because you don't have the habit of acting. And although people may make it seem so difficult, the only thing you should focus on is to create the habit of doing something. Because when that is accomplished, then whether or not you have fatigue, you will get stuff done at the end of the day.